Hello, in this tutorial we're going to be talking about variables and specifically keeping score in a game. So right now I have the code for a very simple ask and answer game where the cat asks a question, and if the player is right, then he says you are right, and if the player is wrong, then he says you are wrong. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to add a score variable. When we go over to the left-hand side, we can see that one of our categories is variables. And when we click it, we can click on Make a Variable. Now in your version, you're going to see a data category and you're going to be able to find the Make a Variable button. And when you click on it, you can create the name of your variable. So we're going to call it score, or you can call it points, and we'll click OK. Now once you've done that, you have several blocks that you can use to control the variables, how they're set, how they're changed. The first thing that you're going to want to do is always set the score, set the variable back to whatever you want it to be in the beginning of the game. So I'm going to take the set score to 0 block and put it right under the green flag so that every time a new player sits down to play the game, the score goes back to 0. We also have change variable blocks. And so I'm going to change the score by 1. And where I'm going to place this block is right under where it says you are right. So that every time the player answers the question right, the score changes up by 1. Now you can also put a negative number inside of the change score block, and what that does is instead of adding 1, it will subtract 1 point from your player's score. So I can put this change score by -1 after he says you are wrong. Oops, put that in the wrong place. Let's fix that. So now with the code that I have set up, every time the player answers the question right, the score will go up by 1, and every time the player answers the question wrong, the score will go down by 1. Let's click the green flag and try it out. What's 2 plus 2? The answer is 4, and you'll notice after he says you are right, the score variable goes up by 1. What's 3 plus 3? The answer is 6. The score variable will go up by 1. Now I have 2. And if I get the answer incorrect, then you'll see that the score variable will go -1, so now I'm back to 1. The final step of this is to put in a code so that when your score equals to a certain number, then the player wins the game. So in order to do this, we're going to need the actual score block. We're going to need to go into our operators and take the blank equals blank code. The score will go in one side, and the score that the player needs to win the game will go in the other side. So I have 3 questions. Each question is worth 1 point. So I will say score equals 3 in order to win. Now we're going to place this code inside of a conditional statement. So we'll go to our control category, and we'll let the cat know that if the player's score equals 3, then that means they win the game, and we want the cat to say, you win, for 2 seconds. Finally, because we want this code to run throughout the entire game and not just one time and stop, we're going to put a forever loop around the entire if-then code. And last but not least, we need an event that's going to start the code to run. So let's test the whole code out. The cat asks what's 2 plus 2. The answer is 4. You are right, and we'll get 1 point. What is 3 plus 3? The answer is 6. You are right, and we get 2 points. And finally, what is 4 plus 4? The answer is 8. You are right. We get 3 points, and the cat says you win.